actually to campus. He's one of 5 NC State basketball players with 1,200 points and over 1,000 rebounds. And I can tell you he's one of the only ones within like this actual generation. The rest of them are a lot older than he was. So he played in a Sweet 16 with me. He played on the Israeli national team, which we'll get into that as well. I'd like to welcome my good friend and a guy that probably, outside of my point guards who probably get most recognition, most of my points came because of this guy because he's setting screens. Richard Howell.
My guy, Scotty Wood, best three-point shooter I ever played with, man.
I appreciate it. So before we move on, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up to Bet Rivers yet, now's the time because they're offering $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one pay through your turn for you to bonus into cash. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season tipping off, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Have a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. So my first thing is literally the first guy I meet, roommate Richard Howell. Obviously, we knew a little bit about each other because, we're, getting recruited. So you're kind of following the recruiting class, all this kind of stuff. We take him, me and my parents are down there. We take him to Pizza Hut. Do you remember this?
Of course I do.
We take him to Pizza Hut. The very first thing we do, and he was the quietest guy I have ever met. He said maybe 5 words the entire time, which I understand. Listen, it's a big step. You're coming from Georgia. I'm coming from Indiana. You're away from home. It's the first time, you're leaving your parents and stuff like that. It was the quietest, most awkward, I don't know if it was lunch or dinner, but, looking back on it, especially I feel like between the two of us and the things that we've accomplished at NC State, a lot of our things kind of went hand in hand. So I'm glad that, the first time we stepped on campus, it was me and you. So
man, it was that was a fun time, man. I remember your pops was there, your mom, your dog. You had the black Camaro. Was it black? You had the black Camaro. Yeah, man. I remember we went to Pizza Hut. I didn't say too much. I definitely remember. It was very awkward for me because I think my dad kind of dropped me off and left. So like I was more nervous. Your dad was still there,
Yeah. No worries. No worries. But that's awesome. So here, the first question I got for you is growing up in Atlanta, what was it like growing up there? Was it basketball to start? Like, did you know it was basketball? Did you have anything else that, you might've, felt like playing? Kind of go through that when you kind of grew up there and when you knew you wanted to play basketball.
Well, first it was football. I actually was a Terrell Davis, Denver Bronco fanatic. I was a huge Terrell Davis fanatic. I had his jersey. I wore it all the time. I wore it to school. I wore it to play football and outside with my friends. So football was my first, the first thing I really loved as far as sports. I really fell in love with it. And it's crazy because we was always playing outside, but I never really envisioned myself playing on a team. So I remember one time I go to school, and I was born in Brooklyn, New York. So when I came to Atlanta, I met everybody. I didn't know that there was, Pee-wee football or whatever. So I finally get introduced to the school. I see people coming with their Cedar Hill jerseys on, their football jerseys. Every Friday, they would come with their jerseys on. So I started to get curious. I'm asking them, what jerseys is this? And then I'm okay, there's a football team. Can I play? I can sign up. And it went from there. It jumped off from there. But 8th grade comes, my father gets deployed. My father gets deployed to Iraq, to California because of the September 11th thing. Mm-hmm. So he's gone for a while, and he was, football was his main thing. He loved football as well. Yeah. But it was to the point where, he was more of a coach, than what he should have been. So when he left, I kind of lost that love for it. And I picked up the basketball, and that's when I started playing. I learned what 21 was. I started playing horse. I started playing pig, and Oh man, it was over from there. It was like I'm cool with basketball. I don't have to go to training camp for 6 weeks. You know, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. and because eighth grade through high school, football starts getting a lot more serious. So I just made a decision, man. You know, I'll be lazy and stick with basketball.
Well, I will say a lot of people listening are going to be glad that you decided to stick with basketball. That's for sure. So that connection. So I feel like in the old days, there was a connection, Indiana Everett case, Monty Tao. A lot of people from Indiana ended up coming to NC State for basketball. Mm-hmm. One of the things I feel like nowadays, especially when we were playing, it was Lorenzo Brown, Ryan Harrell came through, JJ Hickson, I believe. And now even CJ Leslie, as much as he's from, the area now, lives in Atlanta.
He's from where we from. Yeah.
So it's, I mean, kind of talk about that connection. What made, obviously, we had Coach Harris who, loved recruiting that area, but what made that area such a hotbed for basketball?
I mean, Atlanta's hot basketball state, period. State football, basketball is, high school, middle school, they take it very seriously. So, and, oddly enough, me, Lorenzo, CJ Leslie, Ryan Harrell, and like you said, CJ's from here, but we all grew up together. We all grew up playing on the same AAU team. Me and Lorenzo grew up playing against each other, in high school. And his high school was literally 10 minutes down the street from mine. CJ Leslie would meet us, in Las Vegas. He would meet us in California on the weekends for our trips. He didn't come to practice with us, but that's how good he was,
Yeah.
He didn't practice too much with us, but he showed up on the games. We met him on every Friday. He would be waiting in the hotel, for the team to get there. Ryan and Lorenzo, they really grew since, childhood friends. They really grew up together. I met Ryan when I was probably like 7th or 8th grade. Him and Lorenzo was on the same team. I'll tell you a funny story. They're on a team called Team Georgia. It's one of the best teams in Atlanta. We're young. We're very young. And this is when I'm telling you, I'm just now crossing over to basketball. So I haven't played an AAU game. I don't know what it was. I got invited to a practice. I didn't know how serious it was.
Yeah.
So I get down to downtown Atlanta. Run and shoot. I get to run and shoot. This is where they're having practice at. And as soon as I walk in, I see Lorenzo and Ryan. They both have headbands on. I'm telling you, we're pups. We're little pups. They're sitting at the free throw line, dribbling two basketballs, doing the ball handling drill. I'm shocked. I'm amazed. And I know I can't do it. So I go in there. Of course, I'm trying to warm up. Everything's bouncing off my feet. I probably was there for like 30 minutes and I left. I was so embarrassed. This was the first time I met Lorenzo and Ryan. The first time I met them, I was in their tryout for 30 minutes, left, never went back to Team Georgia. I went to a whole different team and I almost like reinvent myself, okay, I've seen them, I'm going to get on my horse, and that was crazy. They don't know that story. They don't know that story. Well, so I never got cut, but I actually did get cut from that team, Team Georgia. I was 7th grade.
Well, I got a weird feeling whoever that coach from Team Georgia is looking back on is like, I should have probably kept a hold of that kid a little bit longer and gave him a chance. So let's just break down kind of our 4 years. Obviously starting with the first year, we both come in. Sidney Lowe's the head coach. Coach Harris, Coach Strickland, Coach Tao, Levi. We got all those guys there. So kind of just give the rundown, especially that first year. Obviously your expectations. I mean, our first 2 years were two of the tougher years, especially of our career, because we come in with pretty big expectations. Our recruiting class was one of the solid recruiting classes. So we had an expectation we were going to come in, we're going to win some games, and it didn't necessarily translate like that. Kind of talk about obviously those 2 years in that era that kind of shaped you into a basketball player a little bit. Or even not necessarily discouraging, but we didn't win a lot of games, so there wasn't a lot of positivity there. Obviously, we knew we had the talent. Just kind of talk about how that shaped you, and looking back on it, the things that you remember.
I'll start off with this. Those 2 years really shaped my professional career as far as knowing how to keep a team together. As far as team camaraderie, as far as chemistry, as far as being close with the people that you're going to go to war with. And I'm speaking the people who are on your basketball team. I'm not talking about the coaches. I'm talking about the people that are in the locker room that you see every day. It taught me that because there were so many other things that was going on. And it affected how everybody played on the floor, So it really showed me, okay, sometimes, always listen to the coach, but us five that's on the court and us five that's on the bench, we have to be like one, we have to be a glue. It really instilled in me, you got to be together with your team, because the coach and the players they're not going to be on the same page. The coach might be on the same page with two of the players, but there's 8 more other players out there that's on different pages. So it really, in hindsight, it really taught me how to, stay with your team no matter what. And it also taught me, to keep going. Of course, we definitely were losing games, and it was more frustrating because we were contributing and we weren't playing as much as we thought we should be. And that's the dynamics of coming as a freshman, mentally thinking that you're this and you're that, and I deserve to play. But no, it's it was so many other factors that went into it. So just looking at the bigger picture too. We came in there as freshmen thinking that, we're gonna play these, we're gonna go in here, we're gonna win these games, we're gonna get our numbers, we're gonna get drafted. We come in here with all of these crazy things, not knowing what we're coming into, So it was I think that for me, that was the biggest thing, man, keeping my team, making sure my team stay my team, And I look back now and it's like, we still, even though all that we didn't lose, so we lost a lot of games, freshman year, sophomore year, we still kept our core, which made us go into our junior year that much stronger. You understand what I'm saying? We had the perfect chemistry. We still was great friends with everybody, with the coaching change. We accepted the coaching change. So, we bought into it. And it matured us. I think those 2 years definitely was a growing phase for me, for you, for Deshaun. I think Lorenzo had his best growing stage at Hargrave, which prepared him for coming to NC State, So it definitely, those 2 years, as much as, people say it was this and it was that, for the players that was on the court, it helped us tremendously.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things too, just kind of looking back on it. I mean, we could have very easily, taken the easy way out and just transferred out, went somewhere. I mean, and then, obviously we lost, Deshaun and a couple others, which I don't blame them whatsoever. They went on to go have great careers.
Well,
at
I'm
some
gonna
other
stop
places.
you right there. I'll stop you right there because I 100% blame Deshaun Painter, and he'll tell you this. That's my brother. Till this day, he comes to my house. That's my brother. He'll tell you. And people don't know this either. When Deshaun, I knew before everybody Deshaun was going to transfer. We were sitting there. He was he was our roommate. He told me, but I shrugged him off. I didn't believe him. 2 weeks later, KB comes to me and was like, "What you gonna do? Your boy gone. Your boy gone." Yeah. I'm like, "K, he lying, K." And KB was like, "Richard, he got his papers. He's gone. I swear you can ask Deshaun." I didn't talk to Deshaun for 2 weeks. And within those 2 weeks, he left to go to Virginia. So those 2 weeks turned into a whole school year. Yeah. I didn't talk to Deshaun until he came back to visit State. And I didn't want to talk to Deshaun. KB made me talk to Deshaun. That's how hurt I was. I was done with Deshaun Painter. I loved him to death, but I was so hurt. Because we had a chance. We had a chance, and, it was more than basketball for me. That I came in, like I said, I seen you first, and then Deshaun. I seen Deshaun, and that was, it was me and him. And when he left, it broke my heart. It broke my heart.
Well, that's one of the things too. A lot of people don't see, how close we get as people, the connections we create.
Connections and stuff. Yeah.
I look back on it like the other day. We had that little golf outing. I mean, I played with Ralston and Stotts, and it just shows what kind of family, NC State basketball is, because I didn't play on the court with Ralston. That's one of the things. He was a red shirt. He didn't travel with the team, but till this day, we kept a connection. It's like the other guys with the TBT. We played TBT. I didn't play with any of them. Obviously, we played some pickup with the guys, but it's that kind of family that a lot of people don't see, is that how close we get, off the court as well. So
exactly. Being able to go back and talk with the players, being able to be on the court and talk with the players there when Godfrey was there. You know, we was able to do that. You know,
Yep.
so
For sure.
and it definitely helped us.
Yeah, I mean, we're able to learn. That's what you want. So we're moving on to our junior year. They announced Coach Godfrey is going to be the next head coach. I didn't know who Mark Godfrey was. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know Lorenzo knew of him a little bit, but I didn't know him. So kind of talk that process when the coaching change was happening. One, kind of what went through your mind, and then what was your expectations moving forward off of that?
Well, when the coaching change happened, I really didn't know what to think or what to expect. You know, I was hearing rumors about, of course, when I heard it was Mark Godfrey, it was a chance it would be Mark Godfrey. Of course, I was ecstatic. I know Coach Godfrey. He when he was at Alabama, he recruited most of us. He's been at my high school a few times. So he at Alabama, you know what I'm saying, Jamario Davis, so we all kind of come from the same area, you know. So I knew who he was. I'm not gonna say I knew the type of coach he was. You know, I'm not gonna say I knew this or that, but I knew the person, Mark Godfrey. And I was like, I like, you know. So when he actually got there and we had a conversation, man, I tell people all the time, Mark Godfrey changed my basketball career. We had a man-to-man conversation because I was at that time, I was at the point where it was like I don't really care about basketball no more. You know, like we're losing, I'm not playing. You know, so like I was just in a foggy situation, and Godfrey came and we had a real man-to-man conversation. He told me, Richard, you need to lose weight. Richard, you need to get focused, and you know, even if you don't make it to the NBA, you can make money overseas. And you know, we don't think about overseas. We don't think about none of that. The only thing we think about is the NBA. So overseas to me was a failure. But at that time, when he told me that, I don't know, it spoke to me. It spoke to my soul. You remember? I think I lost 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Like I went crazy. I went crazy, and it turned my focus. Everything it was a 360 for me. I don't know what kind of man he is. I don't know what he did. Those words he said, the little pastor words or whatever it was. But man, he got me motivated, and it was. I took off from there, and I give that thanks to him. I love that man to death, man. Coach Godfrey, that's my guy. That's my guy.
Shout out to Bob Alejo too. I'm sure he was.
Oh man, shout out to Coach Alejo. He already know. I'm his warrior. He already know what it is. He put me through the trenches, man. That's my guy.
Yeah. So the first words I told Coach Godfrey, he's coming in, and I didn't know who he was, and I went and shook his hand, and I'm Scott Wood. He said, I know who you are, and I told him, I was like, I want to tell you something. I don't want you to take this like personally or like. I told him, I said, I want you to know that this is not rebuilding. The players you have are good enough to win games. You know what I mean? It's not rebuilding. We've got the talent. We just need the structure. If you can give us the structure and develop a little bit, this team can be really, really good. And looking back on it, that year we ended up going to a Sweet 16. So kind of talk real quick about that Sweet 16 year. What are some of the things you remember and why? Because I mean, I think we were like predicted to finish 8th or 9th in the ACC. Yeah. What made that team so good?
Again, I will take it back to those first 2 years with the chemistry. Those guys that wasn't playing, me, you, and then we add, oh my God, CJ Williams. And he was, you know, a prime example of somebody who stayed ready. Yeah. And then, you know, when it comes, I'm gonna take off, and don't matter what happens, I'm gonna keep a smile on my face. And he was of course another one of those people who kept the circle tight too. During the off season, he was making pancakes for us at his apartment at College Inn. You know, those little things help. You know, so the chemistry was amazing, and the way Godfrey came in and kind of let people be in their spots, and those spots excelled for everybody. You know, TJ mid-range was exceptional. This is where he excelled at. You know, and then he can kind of be anywhere with the ball. You know, CJ Williams was the same way. He had me up top, you know, making decisions with the ball passing. He put me in position to screen for you. You know, he put Lorenzo in position to be a playmaker, but also take advantage of a mismatch. I think the UCLA offense that John Wooden, I loved it. And I think it fit us so well and we
Yeah.
bought into it. There was no arguments. There was no going back and forth. There was no questioning his system. We bought into it. We loved it, and it took off.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too that like obviously if I ever get into coaching, that it's putting your guys in situations to be successful.
Yes.
And I feel like he was able to take, 1 through 5, 1 through 6, and put you on a court to be successful. And then the second thing that was really, really big, that UCLA offense, you didn't know who was going to end up scoring. So you always felt like you were involved in every single play. A lot of times now, you got 2 guys that aren't involved. They just stand there. They don't care anymore.
Right,
but when you got 5 guys that know I'm going to have to do my job, because if I don't do my job, nobody's going to get open. They all got to work at the same time. It's a lot more enjoyable, especially on the offensive end of play. So then we get to our senior year. A lot of high preseason 6. We got 3 5-star recruits coming in. Obviously, looking back on it, it wasn't the results we wanted. Me, KB, and TJ, and you will be at the Dale, and we'll be chatting about how that was like one of the most talented teams to ever come through here, and we can't believe we didn't go to a Final Four. Yada yada yada. Anyways, just kind of touch on that. I don't want to get too deep into it because we'll get really deep if we want to, but just kind of talk about that season. And obviously, saying that you were ranked 6th in the nation is awesome, but at the same time, not fully living up to that expectation either.
Yeah, man, that was. There's no way to sugarcoat it, Scotty. We know that was a very disappointing season. We come in ranked 6th. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Deshaun leaves, which really hurts us. Yeah. It really, really hurts us as a true 6 man that could be playing a starting position at probably almost any school. It truly hurt us that he left. And I'm not making that as an excuse, but it was just a disappointing season all around on the court. I wish I could say something that could justify why. Because I can't of course I can pinpoint it, but there's no, we don't need to get in, to that.
It's kind of like I said, at the end of the day, just looking back on it, the one thing that I can learn is that it's like you said earlier on, you got to be like this. Everybody's got to be on the same page. Even though we kept the majority of our group, what people don't realize and how big of a influence Alex Johnson, CJ Williams, Deshaun Painter are on a
Alex
team.
Johnson.
You gotta be able to have glue because we had expectations. So everybody in their mind, they may be thinking, I'm NBA. They may be thinking next level. All of our guys the previous year, the only thing we thought about was how can I have my teammates back? What can I do to help them out? We're talking on defense. If I'm guarding the ball, I'm not a good defender. But when I hear your voice and CJ Leslie's voice right behind me, hey, I got you, send them baseline, I have a lot more confidence guarding somebody. It just all goes hand in hand. And that's one of the things I look back on it too. I don't want to call it a regret because I don't want to feel like I have regrets in life, but it's just one of those things that you got to stay tight. You got to care about your teammate's success just as much as yours. And if you can find a way to do that, the success will come with the team for sure.
Man, Scott, I believe I'm with you 100%, man. And it's like I said, those 2 years, I take it with me since I've been playing, pro ball. I've made sure I made it a fact. I made it for me, when I go to Europe, when I go to Israel, the locker room, we're going to be good. The locker room, we're going to be smiling, we're going to be joking. And if there's any internal problems, we're going to close the door and we're going to handle it internally. We don't let this internal thing go outside this locker room. And then when it's done, it's squashed. We go on to the next day because we all go in the woods together. Those 2 years taught me that, man. And I've taken with me since then. Everywhere I played that, I've made sure that my locker room is good. We'll have no problems because you can win a couple games if you got problems, but you can't win a championship if you got internal problems. It's unless you got 5 Michael Jordans on your team, Well, it's impossible.
Yeah, and that's what if there is any, younger kid watching, it's being able to be held accountable. Don't take everything personally. If someone says, hey, you ain't working hard, or hey, you got to pick it up. That's the one thing looking back, is being able to hold everybody accountable and not taking it personally. Because I feel like nowadays every kid out there, just somebody says something that they don't like and they just take it automatically, personal, instead of just, was I really working?
Yeah.
Or
just don't be a Deshaun Payne. That's my guy. I love him. Just don't leave your squad hanging and transfer to Old Dominion.
Oh man. Hey, when D-Pain listens to this, he's gonna be coming for it. D-Pain, we're gonna have to text him after this. So many shouts out to D-Pain. That's the thing.
I'm gonna tell him. He coming over later. I'm gonna tell him his name was all over the podcast today. I kept his name alive because he transferred though. That's my guy though. I love him to death though.
For sure. So we're gonna talk about the transition. So me and you both made it. You go from playing college basketball to we're both, have our fingers crossed that possibly we get drafted, picked up on NBA team. Doesn't always work out. It's not in the cards for everybody. Looking back on it, it didn't matter. We both are having, great careers overseas. Talk about that transition and your expectation. That's the one thing I remember. I don't want to say scared, but I was like, I'm playing against grown men now. This is, in college, you're playing guys that, 3 years older than you max. I came over there and I had like a 38-year-old on my team. Talk about the transition, of that. And obviously you start getting paid, everything kind of starts changing. Talk about that transition.
So I would say living in Atlanta prepared me for that. I think living in Atlanta prepared me for going across. I don't know, just how I was already kind of brought up. I was okay with being by myself, you know. So going over there was no problem. Playing against older guys, Atlanta prepared me for this because we always in pickup. It was probably a few of us, that was older than us. On the same age as us. But AU, we played 3 levels up my entire AU career. So like I was always used to it. Of course, we lost it at NC State, but we was still also always playing against, the Marcus Melvis, Julius Hodges, and people from Shaw, people from, all the former players were still coming to the Dale Center to play pickup. Yep. So I wouldn't say I lost it so much, but I really think Atlanta prepared me to be able to play against older men. And then, I was, Scott, you was, 6'6" toothpick with a cannon, with a cannon. I was, I was big. I'm pretty big. Yeah. So I like that game. I love that physicality because, I come from playing football. So I was pretty excited. I think the most thing I was nervous about was the food, man. I was more nervous about what am I going to eat.
Yeah.
If they don't speak English.
That culture change that nobody even thinks of.
Man, like they don't speak English. Like, how am I going to get around? I can't drive a stick. I was thinking about how am I going to live? They want me to play basketball in a different country, and I don't know how to speak it. So yeah, I was more concerned of survival. I was more concerned of, okay, am I going to make it, or am I have to go back to the crib, and do something? But all in all, once you get there, you don't understand that, they speak just enough good enough in most countries. They speak just enough English to get you around. Then you're gonna learn for yourself. It's not you're not gonna put you somewhere where it's just dangerous or whatever the case. So you're gonna figure it out. And I think within my first 2 weeks, where was I? My first year, in France, Gravelines, France. They gave me a stick. Yes, they gave me a stick, and of course you just said you heard me say I don't know how to drive a stick. So I land. I have a stick. Nobody picked me up from the airport. My name is in this little Honda in a driver tag, and there's a stick. I get in the car, so I'm at the airport for an hour trying to start the car. And for 2 weeks I'm driving. I finally get it, but for 2 weeks I'm driving the stick around, and I'm at practice, stuck at practice for like 2 hours. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm leaving this car here, and I'm taking a taxi. So I haven't drove a stick since my rookie year, and I never will again. But it's just that culture shock, man. It's just that you have to learn. You got to get out of your ways. You got to adapt to a whole different culture, a whole different society. You have to learn how to be okay
Yeah.
when it's not okay. You know,
Yeah.
when you
And you're
don't want to
alone.
eat.
You're
When
alone.
you don't want to eat a shawarma, or you know, when you don't want a falafel or something, you know, and
Yeah.
you just want a regular hamburger or something. You know, you
Yeah.
just gotta
Yeah.
you have to realize that you have to come with terms with, okay, I have to adapt to my surroundings.
Yep.
And I learned
Yep.
it very quick. And I never had a problem with it. My biggest problem was driving that stick. That was my biggest problem.
Yeah, I remember my biggest problem was just being away from home. You know, there's a big time change, so you're trying to get a hold of people. They're at work, so you can't even get a hold of them. So I mean, there's really no time to get a hold of anybody. So you're kind of out there on an island, and that's where I felt like it was tough, just not having anybody to talk to about, you know, all these changes. You know, like you said, you want a hamburger, you can't find a hamburger. That's one of the things. We adapted and had, you know, 8-9 years over there. That's all you can ask for. So we can't complain.
Can't complain at all. It was beautiful. It was beautiful for me.
Yep.
I loved it.
Yep. Talk about, so we've got an Israeli national team member with us. Talk about how that came about and how much fun was that? Because I can only imagine playing on a national team. So to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Man, being from America, you know, we don't get this opportunity unless you're in the NBA, you know, unless you play with like the FIBA Americas or something like that. But for me, man, it kind of came out of nowhere, honestly. My first year in Israel, let me back up. I'll tell you this quick story. My agent sends me the contract for Israel, and I'm like, whoa, why are you sending me here? Like, did I make you mad? What are you doing? You know, like, you trying to send me to a third world country where, you know, this is not okay, man. You're gonna get fired, you know? So he's like, no, just try it out. You know, it's not what you think, blah, blah, blah. Eventually I go over there, I fall in love. Fall in love. The first place I was in was in Naria. This was like kind of on the south, so on the borderline of like Jordan and all of this. But beautiful, beautiful place. And my first year, so my first game, my coach actually wanted to cut me. I literally had 30 rebounds, but I had 10 points. I missed probably almost every layup, every free throw. Coach wanted to cut me. So when I got wind of this, I step it up, and eventually I just go crazy. After the first year, my coach, my agent said, you know, the Israeli government basically wants you to represent the national team. You know, they want you to be a part of the Israeli national team. We're going to host a Eurobasket, and we want you to be the starting center. And I was like, what? You know, what are y'all talking about? What I got to do? What do I need to do? So, I mean, it kind of took off from there. They got me my passport, man. I played with the Israeli national team. We hosted the Eurobasket. We beat Germany. Dennis Schroeder. It's probably one of the best games of my career, actually. Overall, who else do we I played against Lithuania, barely lost to them. The big dude, Jolis Valanciunas. You know, now I think I'm big, but dude's a statue. Dude's a mannequin. You know, he's humongous and he can move. You know, I know he's big, so I'm thinking like, okay, I'm gonna get around him. You know, he's not quick. No, he can move his puppies. There's no getting around the big dude. You know who he reminds me of? Ragnar Lothbrok.
That's a good one.
No, body. I'm talking about body size and all, bro, dude. And he's an even better person. Shouts out to Valanciunas. But it taught that national team experience, man. That was great. It was great, man. It gave me connections to people that's living over there now that's playing. It was an eye opener because, again, you know, coming from America, we don't have that opportunity. So to be able to play in the Eurobasket at such a high level, that's kind of like right under the NBA. You know, I was playing against NBA players, so like for me, it was like a dream. It was literally a dream come true.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna go on kind of now to I haven't, not one podcast have I talked about this man, and I should have done it before then.
What's that?
Kirk Brown, KB.
K Bizzle.
So we need
Shout out to K Bizzle. That's my people. If you know me, then you know KB. Scott, you know how I rock with K. That's a pops to me. That's my mentor. That's my guy. And I'm gonna tell you something. when K caught, he don't like this either. We ain't talked about it, but I know he don't like it. I call KB, we'll be on the phone. Before we got off the phone, I'd be like, okay, love you. And I'm gonna tell you, I love you too, man. Hang up the phone real quick. K don't like the show emotional. He don't like the show any type of emotional attachment. But I know KB love me, man. I know he love me. You know what I'm saying? I know that's my guy. That's my guy, man. So shouts out to K Bizzle.
We got to give him a shout out because he's been the equipment manager there for ever. Man, coaching KB changes, transfers.
That's a less title, man. He's been more than equipment manager, man. You know, he to those players, you know, he's a mentor too. I know that he is. You know, to have that type of room, that corner where you can walk in freely, comfortable, speak, you know, and be and have that type of advice from a guy like KB. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, he's more than an equipment manager to me, man. He was everything, and I know to those kids now, they definitely cherish him. You know what I'm saying? I love KB to death, and he's a pure soul. Definition of a pure soul, definition of a loving character who just wants people to succeed and don't want nothing back from you. Because this is very rare. This is very rare to find people who just want to give you the world and don't want nothing back. You know, can help you any way they can, and they don't want nothing back but to see a smile on your face. And that's my guy, man. I love that dude.
And that's why I had to get him on here. So that's one of the ones I want to get on the podcast. I can tell you this. KB is one of the greatest people I've ever met, but he's the worst referee there is. He's the worst referee there is.
Agreed. He sees what he wants. He sees what he wants.
Gosh.
It's been some fights started in Dale Center because of KB's officiating.
Yeah, and he don't know if you play twos or threes on the short court at the Dale, he don't know how to keep score either.
Nah, he jumping. He don't know how to add. He jumping that score.
All right, so we're gonna kind of just real quick. Obviously, I don't know how much you've seen. I went to practice the other day. Obviously, when we're overseas, you know, we can catch a few games, not a lot. Let's kind of talk about this NC State team. Obviously, if you don't know a lot, don't get into it too much, but just kind of talk about your expectations for this year. I've seen that where they've got preseason 10. So, you know, obviously I think they should have a chip on their shoulder and you know, kind of like we said, you got to have that tight knit amongst the people in that building to know that, you know, it's you against the world. Nobody's really for you. Kind of talk about your expectation for the team this year.
Well, I'm not gonna say I have any type of expectations, but I honestly think this is where we messed up. You feel me? This is where we got shot in the foot. We was paying attention to ESPN. We were paying attention to all of these TV things, and you know, we're 6. So in hindsight, we probably started feeling like we're 6. You know, walking around campus like we're 6 in the nation. You know, going to class like we're 6. You know, those little things. So
that's a great point that I've never even thought. That's a great point that I've never even thought of.
Oh yeah, so I'm not gonna sit here and say that I expect them, you know, to do this and do that. I expect them to go out there and play hard, dive on the floor, and go balls out. You know, I expect them to follow command from their leader, which is Kevin Keats, and just go hard every night.
Yeah.
I seen the other day that it was like the most most scariest player to go against was Manny or something like this.
Yeah.
So they're gonna vote him like that and then put us, you know, 10th. That's definitely put a chip on your shoulder. You know what I'm saying? But at some extent, they definitely respect us because they named our center, you know, the most scariest to go against on defense. So they respect us to a certain extent, which is now the ball is in our court as it is, you know, in every other season. So like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and say I expect them to do this or that, but they know what they gotta do. They know how to handle business, and I believe Coach Keats is getting the soldiers right for war.
They all start 0-0.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's 0. Everybody's even right now, and I see they working. I know one thing, you know, Keats ain't gonna shy away from them putting them boys to work, and you know, and it's gonna show, you know. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm happy to be home and to be able to. I'll be in attendance at every home game, every maybe some of the away games, but every home game I'm in there. I'm super excited to be a part of this as a former player, man. It's super exciting. Just to be able to walk in the Dale now. Well, Let me back up. Let me back up. It's super excited to be able to walk to the games, you know, when they come on.
Well, that's what I said. I said that when I got home, when I got back from overseas. It's like, dude, it had been 8 years since I've been to PNC and watched a game.
Man,
that's crazy.
It's longer for me. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's crazy.
So now you're gonna get that opportunity. That's gonna be great. All right. So the next segment we got, I'm creating a name. We're gonna call it the starting five. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's called the starting five. It's just 5 questions. Some of them are kind of serious. Some of them are goofy questions, so you can have fun with it. So the starting five is brought to you by Reef Ivy. Need a local real estate agent? As we all know, the real estate market is crazy right now. Maybe you have questions, or maybe you just need an honest opinion about a trusted real estate professional to ensure your best interest is protected. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, call Reef Ivy at Dogwood Properties. For a seamless home buying and selling experience, give Reef Ivy a call. Special audience, if you're considering the possibility of buying or selling a home, call Reef at his personal cell phone number. Free buyer, seller, or investor consultation. His number is 919-995-3111. Again, it's 919-995-3111. He's the best in the triangle and a personal friend. He's also a state grad. So please give him a call if you have any real estate questions. So let's get into these questions. All right. So have fun with them. It's not too serious, but what is your favorite memory in an NC State uniform?
My favorite memory, man, when you know what? I got too many, but I can tell you one. I remember the smile on Javier Gonzalez's face when we beat Duke at the PNC Arena. I seen all 100 of his teeth. You know, it's very hard to get Javier to smile. You know, he's very calm. He's he's cool guy, just a very cool guy. So, and I seen all 100 of Javier's teeth when that buzzer went off. Man, it gave me chills. You know, he was. Him and Farnell, they wanted that. I mean, of course, we all wanted it, but they wanted it so much, you know. And to see that big smile, he got picked up. Farnell got picked up by the fans. That was one of the. I'll never forget that. It really gave me the chills to see. I swear, I seen all 100 of his teeth, man. I seen all of his molars, everything in his. I seen everything. So like that showed me how happy he was.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, that's one that you normally don't get. It's someone else's success. That's the great part about you and why we made it a great team. All right, the second question I have for you: if you could have dinner with 2 people, alive or dead, who would you choose and why?
I would choose my grandmother and my sister. They both passed away.
Okay. That's a great answer. So, Third question: the best advice you've ever received, and by who?
The best advice I ever received, by who?
This one gets a lot of people.
Yeah. Because I don't know if it's appropriate for me to stay on camera.
Well, can you give it the most appropriate version?
Let me think. I mean, honestly, man, probably the Mark Godfrey situation, man.
Yeah.
The Mark Godfrey conversation, man. You know, he told me to lose weight.
Yeah.
He told me to lose weight. I wasn't paying attention. I don't think I was so big in the first place, but when you think about, you know, on the basketball side of things and health-wise, I was way too big. I was way too big. So, I mean, I don't know. I really think this was, I guess this would be it, the most appropriate, because, you know, he really put my head on straight to focus on basketball. Yeah. You know, and get my head off the court things that I was doing. So I really think it was, I would say, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So next one is where was your favorite place to play at in college? Like if you could look back on it and you're like, I always played really well here. I had good memories here. Where was your favorite place to play?
PNC. 100%.
You gotta go out. We're going outside. Outside PNC and outside Reynolds.
Outside PNC. Where I always played good. I mean, it would be selfish of me because we always lost there. But at UNC, I played great all the time.
That's fine.
I think I pretty. No, but that's pretty selfish though because we lost every game there. So,
but you can still appreciate playing in the gym because you felt like you always brought your best. That's fine. You can just blame. Listen, this is the one time you can say the other 4 players just didn't bring it that night. It's okay. You can put some blame on me.
No. I can't do that.
I'll never feel bad.
No.
I've got some famous quotes.
Clemson.
I got some famous quotes when it comes to Carolina, so it ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
Clemson. I feel like I always did my thing at Clemson, and they had a pretty court. I had a pretty court.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. I mean, that's a good answer. So I feel like we played Clemson all right. So the last question, and this is tough for a lot of people. Your favorite place to eat on or around campus. So I'm talking maybe Western, a little bit of Avon Ferry, Hillsboro. So if you had to pick one place to eat, where would you go?
Well, you trying to get me fired. You forgot where I work at.
I know where you work at, but this is just in
let's
the
see. On campus.
You didn't work there when we were in school, so don't forget that.
You're right. You know I'm a Bojangles fanatic.
Okay. That's a good one.
At the Bojangles.
You're my first Bojangles.
Huh?
You're my first Bojangles. You're the first one that said Bojangles. I'm keeping all my podcasts. This one question has been on the same one for all of them. I'm kind of keeping me a tally of what everybody's saying. So Bojangles.
They said it's what?
First one. Bojangles is the first one I've got from
what they say. What people been saying? Amitos.
Amigos is a big one. A lot of the older ones that I've had, the DeWitts, the Chris Corcianis, they've mentioned a pizza place that used to be on Hillsboro that's not on Hillsboro anymore. Clues Coney has been a big one. Sammy's is a big one. So
I need to get back to Amigos. I ain't been in a minute. I need to get back over there.
Yeah, check it out.
Shout out to Amigos because they got me on the wall over there too. Shout out Amigos. I'll be over there.
There you go.
Tomorrow.
They take care of the former athletes too.
They do.
They take care of the current athletes.
Yeah,
they do a good job. So
man, shout out to Bojangles too. Shout out to NC State. Shout out to Tally. Shout out to Case because I lived off those foods too. And shout out to the little breakfast, the little snacks that they had at Dale my senior year when we finally got the room pass. We had some food.
Yeah, now they have full spread. We missed out.
They got whole buffets down there.
Yeah, we missed out by a couple of years, but
man.
I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all of Wolfpack Nation tuning in. Please,
man,
subscribe.
Big shout out to Wolfpack Nation.
So this is one of the ones that's close to me. I say that NC State has given my family and me personally every penny I have, is because of NC State. Richard is one of those that completely agrees and says the same thing.
100%.
100%. I'd be lying to say that, probably 1,000 of my, I don't know how many points it is, 1,000 of my points hands down came because this guy's setting screens. So I appreciate it. The one thing we got is if the big man jumped out, I would throw it right back into him. So we were on the same page because if he was gonna get the ball, he knew, hey, Scott's gonna come on.
Yep.
And if he ain't got nothing, I know exactly where it's coming.
I knew it.
To this day, I'll go back and watch the video of us running follow because I love follow. I mean, I absolutely love follow. I'd come off that cross screen and come off that pin down. And the first thing I'd do is throw it right back to you. So.
I remember, bro. I'll tell you, if I do, we was talking about regrets. If I have one regret, I regret not passing you that ball in the corner in Kansas. I regret not passing you that. Hey, what's up, big man? My son been asleep.
Okay. Pop him on.
Poppy.
Come say hi.
Come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. It's future Wolfpack. Football, basketball, we don't know yet. He's pretty big.
That's all right.
It's future Wolfpack.
What's up, bud?
Big two.
Say hi.
Yeah, football.
Yeah.
There you go. So there we got future Wolfpack Nation.
Hold up the Wolfpack sign.
Future basketball player. We're throwing up the Wolfpack signs. I appreciate you, Richard, coming on.
Yes, sir, my man.
Yeah, we'll do it again soon, man. I appreciate it.
Always, brother. Yes, sir. I'll see you, Scott.
Yep. Take care.
You,